Okay, so before we get started, I do have to read a statement for video recording, just so I have your permission. So it says, thank you for helping me learn to implement an impact cycle. Your trust and confidentiality are very important to me, and I commit to protect them while working with you this year. I need to record our conversation today to use it for learning purposes in my endorsement class. This video will be used to reflect on my coaching skills with my peers in my class, and not to evaluate you in any way. It will not be publicly shared without your consent. Do you give me your permission to record?
Yes.
Okay. So just background so everybody knows what type of class that we're dealing with, the program and everything. Can you please explain your classroom and your program?
So I teach K through 2 SBA. I have one kindergarten, there's 6 children altogether, one kindergartner, 4 first graders, and 1 second grader on a modified curriculum. But we're all still on various different levels, various different behaviors, skills.
A lot going on.
Yes.
So can you describe a typical day in your classroom, what that would look like currently?
Currently, it has been a difficult beginning of the school year.
Yeah.
I do have some behaviors that have impeded the classroom schedule and how the classroom is functioning. But typically, we come in and everybody's to independently, but usually needs help to put away backpacks. It's breakfast, and then we do our morning meeting, centers, which is a ELA center, and that's at this moment. The basis of that is just trying to get them to switch. So, we're trying to do things in the center, but
just learning the actual functioning of what centers
of the
are.
Transition of the because we also have behaviors within. So
what type of behaviors do you see in your classroom?
A lot of, it's hard for a lot of them to sit, to maintain focus, to maintain not having outbursts, verbal or physical, all the way up to we have one that disrobes and elopement, urination. So
okay,
there's a various different
a lot of behavioral needs in your room, for sure. So when you think about, and every year is different, so some years may be really great, you feel like your classroom is, behaviorally, things are pretty strong and you're rocking and rolling with academics. I know this year has definitely been a challenge, just due to the behaviors in your room. So I want to, if you're thinking about this year, and, so far we've only been here for 4 weeks or so.
Right.
But if you think about a day in your classroom right now, what do you feel like would help you be the most effective? Like, what would you like to work on to feel like a more effective teacher in your room?
I definitely think that behavior management, using more research-based strategies. All of the children or the students are also different also. So, one thing that might work for one won't work for the other. So it's just been, the beginning of this year has been very challenging and difficult, because I really want to, we all get into this to make a difference. Yeah. And, at the moment, I don't feel like I am. So
you are, but you are, and
not academic. Like I'm not. It's been hard, but
I know. And the thing is that you build those relationships with those kids, and they know that.
Yeah.
And anybody that walks into your room knows that you have their best interest at heart. And even though right now academics are somewhat put on the back burner, that's that's not your fault.
Right.
You're currently dealing with situations in your room that no one else in our school is dealing with, and we're doing the best we can as a team collectively to kind of help manage those behaviors, and not only manage them, but also try to provide the best support and the best placement for students as possible.
Right.
So you are making a difference.
Yeah.
You are.
I mean, even looking at, for example, one of the students that is academically extremely high, and very, very smart, and could, go very far. He's, never been at school before, so he's just learning
how to do
school. Yeah.
So really,
because he's only ever done ABA therapy. So.
See, and you've got such a wide makeup of kids where you've got students that are nonverbal, you have students that are verbal, highly verbal. You have kids that are, low cognitive functioning, and then you have, the other one that's extremely high.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of filling in those gaps and really, getting the behavior piece kind of
right
in check. So if, in order to feel like a more effective teacher and to really reach your kids, working on that behavior management is, something that you want to do. Can you tell me what that would look like in your room? Like what's one vision that you have to improve that behavior?
I mean, I feel like I am realistic about things. Like, it's not ever going to look like a pretty little box with a nice little bow.
We wish.
Yeah, but just to be able to have the day sort of flow. I realize that there will be ups and downs throughout the day, but more on that even keel instead of the
the up, the down, all of
and to be able to get academics in and feel like it was successful, and feel like they're learning things.
So behavior is such a broad thing because it encompasses so many things. So when thinking about your room and your kids' needs, what is one specific behavior that you would like to address? Because we can start small and focus on those focus on behaviors, grouping them more smallly. That way we can grow and hopefully make a bigger impact.
I would probably say the biggest thing is attaining to a task.
Okay.
Even if it's just for just 3 minutes that they I have ones that will sit and do stuff, but most of them don't. So just attaining and having them come together and be present.
And would you like that attainment to be for a preferred or non-preferred task?
I mean, obviously a non-preferred.
Non-preferred. So, what?
But I think that in the beginning you'd have to
exactly
go for a
exactly.
preferred. But
So, how do you think we could measure the goal? How do you think would be the best way to go about that?
I suppose sort of seeing how long each student can attain in the beginning, and then see how it can progress to not only how long can they attain to a preferred task, and then in the end maybe so they can attain for 5 minutes to a preferred task, and to go to 5 minutes to a non-preferred task.
Yes. No, I think that's great. So what I am envisioning, and I really, like you mentioned earlier, getting a baseline and seeing where we're at. So making sure that number one, that we are able to attain to a task, because you and I both know we've had kids, even when it's something that they prefer, sometimes that attention to that task may only last 30 seconds.
Right.
You know, I had a baby last year. It was 30 seconds before we were on to the next thing. So we're really going to have to work with building stamina first.
Right.
And really focusing on the stamina piece, using those highly preferred items, highly preferred tasks, to build that stamina. So we can brainstorm different strategies to build that stamina to preferred task. That way we can become, proficient with and realistic as well.
Yeah.
With attaining to a task that's preferred and then move on to that non-preferred. So do you feel like focusing on like just attaining to a task, because we're not even concerned about task completion at this point, it's just the attention piece and holding the attention for a sustained amount of time,
right?
And a reasonable amount of time for your kids. So do you feel like focusing on that first is going to help with being able to manage the expectation for behaviors moving forward?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So, I really feel like that's something that we could definitely do together. I mean, you and I both, that's what we do all day in here too. So, so we'll brainstorm some ideas. I know some strategies that we can use. Behavior momentum is one that we could definitely use. I know, is there anyone in your room that uses token charts right now? That uses like a token economy?
I mean,
does Curtis?
Yeah.
He does. Okay. And he understands.
And some of them it works well with, but then I have a couple that it doesn't seem to make a difference.
He doesn't understand.
Yeah.
Does Elliot understand?
No, that's the one I'm saying.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, I didn't know if he did or not.
Are they? But I mean, he might get it. It's just
teaching him.
Yeah.
So we can start with taking baselines, with seeing how long, like we'll give them highly preferred items, things that they really like to do, and see how long they can attain to that task. Now, we also have to look at like external factors too, of what's going on in the classroom at the time.
Right.
So that's the other piece. So we'll look at that, but then we can take like duration data and really focus on that time, and then also level of prompting, so we can focus on how many prompts are needed to redirect, and how much time passes by before the initial prompt is given, and then how many prompts it takes to stay on task for X amount of time.
Right.
So we can start taking that data, and then we can really work on, if we want to choose like maybe a token economy system, and really focus on teaching that to them and how that works, and learning how to immediately reinforce, whenever they are earning those things. Right. And then also there's just so many different strategies that can be used, like out in tandem. I mean, that's just, what we
like
have to do.
With Elliot, I sort of see maybe starting out with just a very simple, like first then.
Yeah.
And then going to,
an actual.
Right.
See, because like Tyson right now, I don't use a token card with it. He's first then.
Yeah.
But he is, like, he does understand now first then. So we're understanding cause and effect more than we did last year. Last year we weren't making that connection, but this year we are, with visual prompts. Like he's even verbal though. Like now it's to the point where, I'll say like first sit then video. Like he knows, I'm not gonna get it unless I do first. Mm-hmm. Does Elliot respond to verbal first then?
Yes, because we'll pause it.
Oh, and so it's visual
first,
for him.
Yeah. First you have to sit, and then the video will turn it back on.
Does he respond to visual cues?
Like
visuals?
Oh, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, I didn't know how he responds.
He more likes to look at them, so I'm not sure if it's because he really likes pictures. Yeah. So.
Well, we can use that to our advantage.
Mm-hmm.
What about Rithvik? Where do you feel like he's at? First then, or?
No, he can do a token.
He can.
Yeah.
I figured he
can.
His
is just, his is that communication piece.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's very smart as well.
Is he using a Go Talker? He is.
Yeah, he
How's
just
doing?
started it,
How's he
and we're
using with
starting to get an AT.
Good. How's he
So.
doing with the Go Talker?
I mean, pretty good. I think it's, we just started.
We're trialing it. Okay, well, that's good.
He did tell me, the one day we had popcorn, and he did hit more eat, so he wanted more popcorn.
Good.
So yeah, he's very smart.
He understands. That's
And
good.
but it's just there's
I
almost
think-
zero communication.
No. Well,
And
Jack,
so when we get frustrated, it's
the kicking
aggressive.
and the.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking Jackson, he's gonna pick up really quickly with a token board. But I mean, because he's just a high kid, like
Right.
he knows. And does Curtis respond? Has he been responding to it?
Depends on where we're at.
Yeah, just the day that we're
Yeah.
having. Did he?
If we're in, the crisis mode, then
Well,
that's-
no.
yeah.
No, I mean
Or
we're
if
past that
we're
at that point.
elevated.
When did he calm down today?
The closer it got to lunch, which I figured,
I
the
figured
closer
that.
that he knew it was to go home.
To get on the bus.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's why in the afternoons
The
it
behavior
seems to be better
Tapers off.
because he knows he's going home soon.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What about Messiah? Do you think?
Um,
I don't know.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Messiah's just kind of all over the place. Getting him to just.
But he's doing the visual of like desk, box, like
Yeah.
he's understanding that. So I wonder if we could start doing the first, then
Right.
like he might pick.
Yeah, he does. He does do visuals. He's very smart too.
Yeah, he is.
His is just. I mean. He's,
Attention deficit.
Yes.
Yeah, highly attention deficit. Okay, so moving forward, we'll definitely be focusing on behavior. So our goal is going to be like increasing time on task. So that'll be our goal. And you and I can sit down. Like I was telling you earlier about the research-based strategies. So what we. Sorry. Just kidding her. I know that like we can sit down and go through those things for like what we feel like will best tie in, and then also want to reach out to Brooks too, and see what Brooks thinks about like kind of how to scaffold introducing everything,
right.
because I don't want to overwhelm and right there at the beginning. But Brooks is so knowledgeable with that ministry of the house, so hopefully she'll be able to give us some good strategies with that. And then I want to also get her opinion on how to best take the data too, because I know we can do duration, but just I want to make sure that I want to see what data sheet she has to see if we can like cinch it up a little bit.
Right. It's just hard because every kid is like something that might work with, a highly ADHD, can't stop talking or moving kid like Messiah might not work with like Calvin.
No. Well, what we can do though is instead of, wait, does something stink?
No, it's just the food in there.
Oh.
I get a whiff of food every day.
Oh.
No, it's no diapers.
All right. Oh.
No diapers. The diapers are what do it. When I open that, I'm not used to that because I work in the
the
middle
diapers
school.
are in there. They're not in mine.
Damn, they smell so bad. Has my nose right out.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I mean, the kids are in diapers. They can't help it.
Okay. Oh my God. So we might can focus on one kid
Yeah.
or two kids instead of focusing on all six.
Right.
So, all right. So that sound good? Oh, thank you. I'll sign that.
Can you just sign that right now?
I'll just sign. Okay. I'll sign. It's okay. It's okay. Are we good?
Yeah,
I think we're
so.
good. Okay. Thanks, Carrie.